welcome to the Beyond Rental Demo video presentation. Upon opening this program, you will notice several sheets at the bottom. Index, which is where it will open, Introduction, Initial Setup, Data Entry, Results, Rental Increase Dates, Rental Increase, Print Record, Payment Log Archive, Archive, Security Deposit, Damages, and finally the security page. It is strongly advised when you receive this sample demo that you spend some time looking through the index page and spend a fair amount of time looking through the introduction page, which will guide you through what you can expect from this program, possible troubleshooting hints, what certain things mean, and basically it will help you to set up your program for first use and thereafter. Okay, so I'm not going to read the introduction page for you because that's certainly something that you can do in your own time. But what I will do is give you in this presentation a quick guide to setting up your spreadsheet for the first time. Okay, so we're in the initial setup page. I'm going to enter a few different units just as an example. Let's go A, B, C. Let's say the current rent, and that is the rent at the time the tenant was placed into this spreadsheet, is 1,000. 1,000 could be pounds, it could be dollars, it could be any currency, it's not really important. We can go with the name Joe Smith. Let's suppose that the actual move-in date was the 1st of January of the year 2000. And let's suppose that Joe Smith is a good tenant and he doesn't owe any money up until the current point when you're inserting this information in. And this, of course, is very, very important. This field needs to be filled out. As, incidentally, is the time in your, the date and time of your system, of your computer. That needs to be accurate because everything is based on those. Okay, so let's suppose that the date of this particular spreadsheet coming into effect was the 1st of January of 2006. And if we do that, we'll notice that 1,000 pounds, dollars, 1,000 has appeared here. You'll also notice that there's some check boxes here that you can check or uncheck. At the moment, the date is that they moved in was the 1st, and so there are no nothing needs to be prorated. So 1,000 will remain whether or not you click this checkbox. Okay, so let's go swiftly to the other sheet. There is a data entry sheet at this time. However, I'm going to first of all take you to the results sheet so that you can get an idea of what is going on. Okay, so the units that you inserted into the first page have now appeared here. The name Joe Smith has appeared, the actual move-in date, the current rent. You will notice that the number of days in tenancy reads 2,781, and probably you're wondering whether that is accurate. The 2,781 reflects the number of days between the 1st of January of 2000 and the current date on this particular computer, which is the 13th of August of 2007. And that's what those days represent. You will notice the date at which this unit was placed into this template was the 1st of January 06. And certainly the days in tenancy since this template was put into use is 589. Essentially, that's the time difference in days between the 1st of January 2006 and the 13th of August of 2007. Number of months to represent the 589 days, and also you'll see that there is $1,000 to represent the amount of the rent. The most important thing here is this particular column, which is the current balance, and it reads at 20,000. Now, why does it read 20,000? Well, if we were to consider that this spreadsheet was put into use on the 1st of January of 2006, and today is the 13th of August of 2007, that represents a period of 20 months at £1,000, and so 20,000 is listed here. Now obviously, if you're using this spreadsheet, in the data entry sheet you will be entering on a monthly basis the rent. So and you'll notice that because the name has appeared, that tells you everything is working as it should. There is no difference between the rent that was expected and the rent that was paid. And so that stands at 0. Now if we go to the results sheet again, you will notice that this has gone down to 19,000. And in fact, if you had been entering this like you would expect to on a month-to-month basis, that amount would currently be 0. This amount here. Okay, so that gives us some kind of idea as to what's going on. In order to make life a little bit easy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter at random the 19,000. And once we get here, we see that this balance is now 0. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate and suggest that perhaps on the 1st of January of 2007, a rent increase was placed, a rent increase of, let's say, £100, dollars, what have you. And therefore, it being August now, we would expect to see a deficit for 9 months, for 8 months, excuse me, of £100, dollars, etc. Which would mean that there is a shortage of 800. And sure enough, the 800 is short, because basically this amount would have been paid as part of the rent increase every month. So let's talk about some of the other features of this particular program. You'll notice that there is a menu called tenant. Actually, you'll notice that there's two menus called tenant at the moment, but that's because I closed the program and reopened it. This doesn't usually happen when the program is closed completely, but I didn't do that for the purposes of this presentation. So you can assume there's one tenant menu that's added to your normal Excel menu. And let's say we want to insert a date for rental increases for all the units, for all the apartments, or the units that are to be let. Okay, enter the date that you would like to add as a new rental increase date for all the units. Well, you might say, well, this is fairly simple. I can just copy this and paste it down here. Why do I need a macro? And there's a simple answer to that. As your tenants move in and out, you'll have certain tenants whose rental increases come up to 4, certain ones of them that come up to 10, and certain ones of them that come up to 2. And remember, this is just a demo. You may have 100 units. Rather than go in there and manually insert this date 100 times at different parts of this spreadsheet, a macro has been written for you to do that. So let's do that. Let's say that we are going to impose a rental increase on and of course, if you're not happy with this, by the way, you'll notice that the days since the last rental increase have been logged here. If you're not happy with this, you can just say no. Okay, so that's one aspect of our menu. The other aspect of the menu I wanted you to look at is the print record aspect. So if you wanted a statement for apartment A, say, you hit print record, which apartment, you say apartment A, and what it does is it creates a printed record of it. Now, I can tell you an error message is about to come up because my printer is not connected for this particular demonstration. Finally, let's go to what happens when a tenant moves out. Well, this program provides you with a way to archive your old tenants and thereby keep all the information in one spreadsheet. Your new tenants will be able to move in and you can start their history from the time they move in. So let's see what happens when we archive the record. Before we do that, I would like to draw your attention to a few details. First of all, you'll notice that this is a blank spreadsheet, so there is nothing in the payment log archive, and there is also nothing in the archive sheet. You will also notice that I'm about to get rid of the details for this apartment, and so we're expecting all of this information to disappear. We are also expecting all of the payments that were made under Joe Smith in apartment A also to disappear. We also are expecting this information to be archived elsewhere. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what happens. Okay, I will start off by going to the initial setup sheet, and you will notice that all the information pertaining to Joe Smith is no longer there. If we go to the data entry sheet, all the information for Joe Smith is no longer there. If we go to the results sheet, we will notice that everything is returned to the way it was initially, and there is no longer a record for Joe Smith. Apartment A has stayed there because one assumes that the apartment's name or number doesn't change between one tenant and another. Okay, so what happens to the rental increase dates? Those are gone. And the rental increase amounts, those are also gone for apartment A. Okay, let's go to the payment log archive. This, as the name would suggest, has all the information pertaining to all the clients who have made payments called Joe Smith in Unit A. So it's basically that one client. Going to the archive page, you'll notice that the apartment number is logged here, the initial rent, 1,000, the tenant's name, the effective move-in date. Essentially, this is when the tenant actually moved in. The balance, if you recall, it was $800, pounds, etc. And something that's of particular use, I think, is to know when a particular unit or a particular tenant was archived. And so you have a time and date stamp that tells you exactly when this was done. It is always recommended, of course, that you back up your spreadsheets. So if, for instance, this person should not have been archived, then you can always refer to a backup and retrieve the system to the way it used to be. It is worth mentioning that it is always recommended that you save your spreadsheet right before running a macro. Once you've run a macro, it cannot be undone, and therefore, if you do save it right before running the macro, if the results of the macro are not to your liking or you find you've made a mistake, what you can do is simply close down the program, not save it, and reopen it, and everything will return back to the way they used to be. This information from the security sheet and the damages sheet would also, had they existed, been taken out and inserted into the appropriate payment log archives. Now, I would like you to just realize that basically this is just a demo. There are a lot of features that this program has that I have not explored with you in this presentation. Once you get to work with them, you will get to see in detail so many of the things that are extremely user-friendly that help property managers in managing their tenants' records. The other thing that I want to mention to you is that this only has 9 units. Obviously, this capability can be increased to, several hundred units if necessary, and this will provide a very quick way for apartment managers and property managers to keep track of their information. In addition, any other functionality that is required can be added for you. So this may provide some of the things that you're looking for. It may provide a little more than you were looking for, but also I recognize that creating a bespoke product, certain companies will be in search of something that caters to all of their needs. And hopefully this is just something to whet your appetite and to get your ideas flowing so that you can see that there are many possibilities out there. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation, and if you have any questions, please do get in touch with us at www.excel-lentsolutions.com. whet.com. Thank you.